welcome back to my unit on waves at the Physics 11 level. We just finished the notes on the first day, and we usually have 80-minute blocks in my school, so I would give them time, however much time there was left, to work through a 10-question worksheet that talks about frequency and period and things like that we've been discussing. If I want to highlight the answers for them, and I don't mind giving answers actually. I especially at the grade 11 and 12 levels, and certainly at the adult education level. I get some adult grads coming back to school, and I don't have to worry about them ever cheating. They're there for a reason, and giving them the answers I think only helps them learn. I would probably fill in the rest of these at some other point. And they could work together in groups of 2 or on their own, and they could finish it for homework. And that's what we would do for the first day. Now, the second day, and I can go back to the notes actually. The following day, we might review a little bit of the notes that we did, the things I highlighted. I can even go over the lab that we went over the next day, and just we can talk a little bit more about that, as well as go over the homework. So the second day would be notes on in this case, some graphs and what the transverse waves looks like in terms of measurement. We were only playing around with what things looked like in some of the terms, but in terms of numerical values and quantitative results, I'd go over the amplitude, is the distance from the 0 point to the maximum crest or trough. In this case, it would be 3, half the distance. The amplitude would be 3. And we go over the notes like this, which they all have once again. And I'm using a pen instead of a mouse, and it does enable me to make things like notes, and I can explain things like the symbol is lambda, and the units are meters for wavelength. And so the notes would go like this. It's certainly not a very big day of notes. Talk a little bit about wave behavior, the medium. The medium is what the wave actually travels through. I might highlight this word here. We'll talk a little bit about, it might be a rope, it might be water, it might be air. The medium is what it travels through. And going into denser mediums versus less dense mediums. The reflection is either inverted or it's transmitted forward as upright. And a very important part in Physics 11 is talking about constructive and destructive interference. When waves meet, they interfere. They either constructively interfere, where you have 2 crests meeting each other in the middle, and they would actually constructively grow and amplify each other in a sense. Destructive interference is the opposite. When the 2 waves are coming at different directions, when they meet in the middle, it actually cancels completely, and for a moment there would be no wave. And I might illustrate that once again with my applet on transverse waves, which we looked at yesterday. But I might take another look at this now that we can move on and talk about the next thing. What I might do is I might do a lower my damping effect. I might do a constructive interference. So it might look like this. I'll do one wave and it'll travel down to the right. It'll reflect, and as it comes back, I'm going to create another wave, and they're going to be constructively interfering. So when they meet in the middle, those 2 waves should be twice as large for a moment. So big wave, another wave, there you go. So I can actually pause that and step it forward. So as you can see here, 2 waves are coming together, not quite the same height, same amplitude, but they're coming together, and they're going to constructively interfere right about here and become twice as tall. Here it comes, right there. So that's an illustration of constructive interference. And I wonder if we'll get some destructive interference here. No, I think it'll be another constructive interference. So to do a destructive interference, I'd have to reset this and do 1 pulse, and then another one there. So here they're coming together, and as I step forward, you'll see that they will cancel almost to 0, but my waves probably aren't exactly the same, but here they come. And essentially the waves are gone. So that's an illustration there. And so the notes are done. A very short lesson of notes because we probably spent some time going over this worksheet here. So now that we've done that, I will give them a new assignment, which would be transverse wave problems with some numerical values. And they have to go through the amplitude, wavelength, speed, period, and these kinds of things. I would probably skip this second standing wave problem. So I gave them the transverse wave problem here. And on the back, I would probably give them, as I said before, solutions. And I have no problem doing this. I might do it at the end of the class, but they have it there to work with and to look at even the solution, not just the answer, but how I came about the results. And that would be that. So I'd probably, because it's such a short day so far, I'd probably give them another assignment, which would be a crossword puzzle. It's always fun to do crosswords, even when you're in upper level high school or even adult education. And so you got this crossword puzzle here with the questions right above it. You know, cross them down, and they would have to find the answers. And this one, I wouldn't give them the solutions, I don't think, until the end. And there's the solutions there. So that's the second day. I'll stop it here, and I'll reconvene on the next lesson with the third day, which is probably going to be a quiz. I would announce a quiz just to kind of see where they're at. So, signing off.